When you're confident, you're more likely to try new things, to say yes to opportunities, to set boundaries, and to show up as the very fullest version of yourself. Welcome to the Redefining Midlife podcast. I'm Jo Clark and I'm so glad you're here. And this is a podcast for women who are ready to break free from outdated stereotypes, rediscover themselves, and embrace the endless opportunities that midlife brings. Each week, I'll share expert advice, actionable strategies, and inspiring conversations with incredible women who are redefining what it means to thrive in midlife and beyond. From health and wellness to reigniting your purpose and passions, this is your go-to podcast for feeling empowered, supported, and seen. And midlife isn't the end. It's your time to shine, rewrite your story, and create a life that you truly love. So let's get started. Hello, and welcome back to Redefining Midlife. I'm so glad that you're here with me again today. And in this episode, we're going to be talking all about confidence. And even just saying that word can bring up a whole mix of feelings, can't it? And for some women, it's something that they used to feel, but they may have lost along the way. For other women, it's that constant search. If only I had more confidence, then I'd do the thing. Then I'd make the change. Then I'd finally feel like myself again. And we really can put so many conditions on living life fully. You may not know this, but confidence is one of the most searched topics for women in their 40s and beyond. So if you've ever felt like yours has taken a nosedive or disappeared altogether, you're definitely not alone. Now, you may remember that I've talked before about overthinking and about taking action, and those episodes touched on confidence. But today I really want to go deeper and dedicate this whole episode and conversation to rebuilding confidence in midlife. Because it's such a central part of how we show up, how we live, and how much joy that we actually allow ourselves to feel. And just so you know, you're definitely not listening to someone who's got it all together all the time, because I've had plenty of moments when my own confidence has taken a nosedive and a hit, and it's something that still happens to me to this very day. I've second guessed myself, wondered if I was too old to try something new, and I've even thought, who am I to be doing this? And every single time I've had to find a way back to myself, to rebuild little by little. And remember that confidence isn't something that we magically wake up with. It really is something that we grow. So let's get into it. Firstly, let's talk about why confidence often dips in midlife. Because when you understand the why, it takes away some of that shame or that self-blame or negative self-talk. For so many of us, midlife comes with some big identity shifts. Maybe your children are leaving home. Maybe you're stepping back or stepping up in your career. Maybe you're choosing to go in a different direction altogether. Maybe you've become a carer for aging parents. Maybe you're finding your way into the dating game again after a breakup in a relationship. All of that can shake the very foundation of who you thought you were. And then on top of that, our bodies are changing. Perimenopause, menopause, weight shifts, energy fluctuations, hot flushes in the middle of a work meeting. All of these things are real for women, and they affect how we feel about ourselves. And then there's also the mirror. You might not notice that your shape is changing, but most of us do. The majority do. Most of us see the lines on our face that weren't there before, the grey hairs that are suddenly appearing, or perhaps your body's not doing things as easily as it once did, whether that's running after the kids, lifting heavy groceries, or bouncing back from a workout. And for some women, it's just little things, but for others, it can be a big shift. Either way, these changes can impact how confident that we feel in our own skin. And then there's society. We know firsthand that we live in a world that still tends to overlook older women, I should say. The media often portrays youth as the ideal, and the invisibility as the default. And once you hit that certain age, it's gone. If you've ever felt unseen, undervalued, or like you've faded into the background, that's not your imagination. So if your confidence has taken a dip, it's not because you're failing. It's because you're navigating one of the biggest seasons of change in your life. But before we rebuild it, we need just to clear up a few myths about confidence. The first myth is confidence is something that you're either born with or you're not. That is simply not true. Just think of a woman who says, "Oh, I could never do that public speaking. I'm just not that confident." The reality is, the women you see standing on stage confidently, well, they weren't born that way. They built it through practice, through repetition, and also learning how to handle those nerves that everyone feels when they're on stage. Myth number 2, confidence only comes after you've had big wins or achievements. And this is the "I'll be confident once" trap. I'll be confident once I lose those 10 kilos. I'll feel confidence once I finally get that promotion. I'll feel confident once my kids are all settled down and happy. But what usually happens is that once you get there, that goalpost, well, it moves once again. You lose the weight, and then suddenly it's about something else. Maybe it's about an injury or the wrinkles or whatever. You get the promotion, and then suddenly you feel out of depth in that new role. Waiting for achievements before feeling confident keeps us stuck in that whole waiting room of life. And then there's myth number 3. This myth is all about that you have to feel confident before you can act. This is a one that actually stops us in our tracks. I'll join the gym when I feel fitter. I'll go to that networking event when I feel more confident. I'll book the solo trip when I feel brave enough. But the truth? You'll never feel ready if you're waiting for confidence first. You have to act while you're nervous, and the confidence then follows. And I can think of so many things that I've done scared, like starting this podcast, and the confidence only came after I pressed record, or when I launched my wellness membership or began my mentoring. Right now, I'm working on a brand new mini course for women. And so those voices of doubt and the dips in confidence starts all over again. So our idea of confidence is based on our perception, our past experiences, and most importantly, it depends on our mindset. So then how do we rebuild confidence? Well, let's keep it practical. Here are 4 ways that you can start today. Number 1, and this is my favorite, keep those promises to yourself. So when you say you'll do something and then you follow through, even if it's only in a small way, you build self-trust. And self-trust is the very foundation of confidence. Well, that might look like committing to a short walk each day. It might look like keeping a morning ritual that grounds you. Or maybe it's following through on one of your wellness micro habits. Every single time you keep that very promise, you're telling yourself, I can rely on me. This is all about being in integrity with yourself. So take those small steps and build up the proof that you can do something, that you're becoming someone. Number 2, shift that self-talk. So many women speak to themselves in a way that they would never speak to a friend. We can be incredibly negative and hard on ourselves. And what we say to ourselves is often repeated over and over. And when it becomes repeated enough, you actually do begin to believe it. It becomes a part of your identity. So become more aware of the things that you're actually telling yourself. So the next time you catch yourself saying, I can't, or I'm hopeless at this, how about you try swapping it for I'm learning or I'm practicing? It sounds small, but it is really powerful because the words you say to yourself shape the way you see yourself. And number 3, take brave micro actions. Confidence doesn't grow from thinking about it. It grows from doing. So the key is to start small. And this is a message that I repeat constantly on the podcast. So that might just mean speaking up in a meeting. It might be a simple step like signing up for that pottery class or wearing something that feels like you again. Or finally saying yes to something that you have been curious about. Because each little step that you take is a vote for the confident version of you. Now, number 4, work with a coach or a mentor. This one is really close to my heart. Now, I've worked with coaches myself for years, and they've been invaluable in helping me stretch beyond what I thought that I was capable of. They've held me accountable. They've helped me shift my mindset when I got stuck. And they believed in me. And this is what's most important. They believed in me in moments when I didn't believe in myself. And I see the same thing with the women that I mentor. Sometimes just having someone else hold that vision for you of seeing what's possible before you can even see it yourself. That's just that spark that gets you moving. And that support can absolutely completely change how quickly and how strongly your confidence then returns. So now that I've given you some ideas on what you can do about gaining more confidence, let's just talk about the ripple effect that happens when you do take action. And what's beautiful is that when you start to rebuild confidence, it doesn't just change how you feel inside. It ripples into everything else. When you're confident, you're more likely to try new things, to say yes to opportunities, to set boundaries, and to show up as the very fullest version of yourself. Your relationships shift, your work feels different, and even the way you carry yourself into something as basic as a supermarket aisle, it can change. I've seen this play out so many times. A client who started with something as simple as speaking kindly to herself ended up applying for a brand new role that she never thought that she could get. Another woman who felt invisible in her own home started painting again, and suddenly she was reconnecting with her joy, and her whole family felt the difference. And I've personally felt it too. For me, every time I've taken a brave step, whether it was putting my face and my thoughts in public on Instagram, maybe it was running workshops or putting my hand up for a role that scared the hell out of me, I didn't feel confident first. I felt the confidence grow after I did the thing. And that's just how it works, whether we like it or not. So if your confidence feels a little bit shaky right now, I want you to remember this. You don't have to wait for it to magically appear. You can build it one promise, one word, one action at a time. Confidence is not about becoming someone else. It's actually about rediscovering who you are and letting that woman shine. And as I always say, if not now, when? Now, I'd love to know what resonated with you from today's episode. So come on over to me at Jo Clark Coaching at Instagram and send me a message because I love hearing from my listeners. And if you're ready to go deeper into this work, you can find ways that we can connect in the show notes. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. And remember, midlife, it is not a crisis, it's your awakening, and the best is yet to come. So until next time, take care and keep on choosing you. Thanks so much for spending your time with me today. I hope you feel inspired to make the next chapter of your life the best one yet. And remember to share this episode with someone else who would love it and connect with me on Instagram or LinkedIn at Jo Clark Coaching. All the links and the details from today's episode are in the show notes or at joclarkcoaching.com. And if you enjoyed this episode, please follow or subscribe this show on your favorite podcast app and leave a 5-star rating and review. This helps more midlife women find these empowering conversations. I can't wait to chat with you next week. Until then, take care and keep creating a life that you love.